Hi, this is SAP tutor with Uplatz. Now I am going to cover part one of different types of SAP projects. Now I will share the screen. So as I already told you, so these are the different types of SAP projects. One by one, you see SAP Implementation Project. First one is SAP Implementation Project. This is first one. This is second one, SAP Support Project. Third one is SAP Rollout Project. Fourth one is SAP Upgradation Project. Fifth one is SAP Expansion Project. I will explain all of this one by one. As I already told you, the first type is SAP Implementation Project. This SAP Implementation Project, this is again divided into two types. This is divided into two types. I put small a. First type is Big Bang Project. Big Bang Project. So first subtype is Big Bang Projects. Second subtype is Phased Projects. First, I will explain this Big Bang Project. This type of project aims to go live with all modules across all departments at the same time. So in this type of Big Bang projects, all modules will be introduced into the organization at the same time. So all modules will be implemented here. The SAP Implementation Life Cycle is followed end to end for the full scope of the company's financial and logistical business processes. So here at one time you implement all total SAP projects. So that's why here one time only you have to go for end-to-end implementation of SAP project here in Big Bang project type. This approach may be used for smaller companies to keep costs low as there is only one implementation, life cycle to execute. So this approach is useful for small companies because their scope of SAP project is very small. That's why at one time you can implement total SAP into those companies. However, the necessity for planning is amplified and the risk of missing deadlines is high. Because you are implementing total SAP at one time. So that's why you have to do a lot of planning. And also, sometimes there is a danger of missing deadlines also because the entire SAP is implementing at one time means there will be a lot of complexity in. For this, there are advantages are there for this type of SAP implementation projects. There are disadvantages also. First, we go for advantages. We go for pros. So first advantage is quick to implement. You can implement a new system in a short time in your entire organization using this approach. So you can quickly implement this SAP project. Why? Because you are doing it one time. So that's why all modules will be implemented at one time. That's why little time is required. That is first advantage. Second advantage is uniformity. Big Bang implementation allows the usage of a single system in the entire company. So because you are implementing SAP system one time, so that's why there will be a single system only. That means there is a lot of uniformity advantages there in this type of implementation. Third advantage is cheaper. As the entire company is using a single system, it involves lesser funds. Because you are using a same SAP system in entire organization, and also at one time you are implementing total SAP system. That's why obviously lesser funds are required for this type of SAP implementation. So these are the advantages. Now we go for disadvantages. Now we go for cons, disadvantages. First disadvantage is difficult testing, full testing, is quite difficult. Under this approach, before going live, before going live, so because you have implemented SAP at one time, you have to test total SAP system also one time only. So that's why you have to test the entire system, means it becomes a quite difficult. Second disadvantage is wider scope of issues. Due to the implementation of new system in the entire organization, the scope of potential system issues increases. So one time you are implementing the entire SAP system. So that's why there will be more chances of getting errors also. There will be more chance of getting bugs also because of the complexity of one-time implementation. So this is about Big Bang projects. Now, this is a part of SAP implementation projects. The first subtype of SAP implementation project is Big Bang projects. Now we go for second subtype. Second subtype is, I will mention, phased projects. Phased projects. A phased project is an alternative to Big Bang approach where a set of modules are identified in an initial phase, then further integrations will be added later. So this is completely opposite to Big Bang approach. Here in this phased project, what we do is we will implement the different types of SAP modules in group by group, piece by piece. So in first place, we will implement some modules and then we go for some other modules like that. For example, a company may decide to implement financial and analytical modules in the first phase. Like finance, short form is FI, controlling, short form is CO, and human capital management. Short form HCM. In the first phase, they may decide to implement these three modules. This comes under financial and analytical modules. So first FI, finance module, then controlling. After that, they can go for human capital management. Then plan a second wave to incorporate logistics modules such as materials management, Short form is MM. Production planning. Short form is PP. And sales and distribution. Sales and distribution. Short form is SD. Then they can go for these three modules. These three modules comes under logistics modules. First, they can go for material management, production planning, and sales and distribution. In a third phase, they may opt to implement remaining modules. So in the third phase, they can go for all remaining modules. In reality, a phased approach will include several end-to-end implementations one for each phase. For each phase. So here, several end-to-end implementations are required. First, you take a set of 2 or 3 modules, then you go for end-to-end implementation of those modules only. In the second phase, again, you take 2 or 3. Again, you have to go for end-to-end implementation. Third phase also like that only. That's why you require to do several end-to-end implementations in this type of project. This leads to longer implementation timeline and therefore higher cost higher cost, but much lower risk and steady performance in the long run. So obviously, this type of SAP implementation project takes a long time. So because it is a long time, the cost also will be very high. But here, there is one thing, here risk is very less here because you are not implementing all modules at a time. So you are implementing part by part. That's why the risk is very less. And also you can be sure of a steady performance. So here also some advantages, disadvantages are there. I go for first advantages, pros. First advantage is better adjustments. Due to piece by piece SAP implementation of the entire system everyone gets enough time to properly adjust and adapt to the new system. So here you are implementing SAP part by part. So that's why the employees in the organization will have more time to adjust to the new SAP system. Second advantage is comprehensive testing. Here, incremental testing is possible. Under this approach. Here you are implementing SAP system part by part. That's why you can do testing also part by part only. So you are doing the SAP testing only for a certain part of the system. So obviously the test results also will be very accurate. Third advantage, easy to fix smaller problems. Based SAP implementation allows you to find out the smaller bugs and issues in a single area which allows the technical team to fix them quickly So you are doing the testing also in a small areas, part by part. So that's why the problems also will be very less and smaller problems will occur. So that's why your technical team can rectify those problems easily. So these are the advantages. Next, we go for disadvantages. Cons. What are those cons? I will explain you. Costly, the longer timelines, result in higher implementation and consulting costs. Consulting costs. So here, because you are doing the SAP project from time to time, part by part, obviously more time will be required to introduce SAP. So with that time, obviously there will be more implementation and consulting costs. Second disadvantage is delay in ROI. ROI means return on investments. Suppose you invest something means once you get the profits, how much profit you get, that is return on investments. So return on investments is delayed due to large time gap between starting and the final date of implementation. So you are implementing SAP project stage by stage, step by step. So that's why it requires long time to get benefit out of SAP project also, because you are not doing it one time. So part by part, if you do means there will be delay in the profits also, which are coming from SAP. So this is about first type of SAP project, that SAP implementation project. I will explain you next types of SAP projects in my next video. Thank you for listening to my course.